So I'd seen online about this old tunnel that was on the fringes of Sheffield City Centre. I'd read some fascinating stories and history about the tunnel, so I just really wanted to come down and have a look for myself. So we've just passed underneath the Wicker Arch, which was the old Sheffield Victoria Railway station. So here's an old map showing the tunnel. So we're going to head up and have a look at the portal on the left hand side of that map. And here's a view of Rail Map Online. So this has got a bit more of a modern overlay with Google Maps. So the blue lines that you can see, that would be the old Great Central Railway, or the Woodhead line. And the yellow would be what was the Sheffield and Rotherham Railway that was later brought into the Midland Railway. So that kind of collection of sort of sidings that you can see, where the Tesco is now, that would have been the Wicker goods yard. But more on that later. And these shots are of me making my way up towards the entrance of the tunnel. So when I make these videos, I like to sort of go to where I'm making the video, do a little bit of filming, then do a few pieces to camera while I'm at the site. But it didn't quite work out like that today, for reasons that will become clear. But anyway, I'll catch up with you when I'm on the final entrance to the tunnel. So this would be right on the side of Sheffield Ring Road. You can probably hear just behind, it's quite noisy, so I've just come out of the way. But we're just going to go up and have a look now. It is in quite a run-down area of Sheffield, unfortunately. As you can see, a little cat there, stray cat. Assuming it's stray, it's very, very dirty. Yeah, but as you can see, it's not a pleasant entrance. This is the first time I've been here, so I'm finding it as I'm finding it with you now. This is quite disgusting, really. I'm already seeing discarded syringes, so it's really not pleasant at all. But there we go, here we are. If you do come up here, just be very, very careful. So the tunnel opened in the 1840s, and its sole purpose was to create a link between the Great Central Railway on the top of the viaduct and the Wicker goods yard on what became the Midland Railway down at the bottom. And anyone who kind of knows the geography of this area would know that that's quite a difference in altitude. So what they've done is they've created this tunnel that it was called the Fiery Jack, or Spital Tunnel, for giving it its correct title, and that created a link between the two goods yards. Now, the gradient that we're talking about, we understand, was 1 in 25. So that's, in railway terms, that is some gradient. So imagine being on an open footplate of a steam train, breathing in all that soot and smoke that had nowhere to escape. So even for the short time that you was in the 370-yard long tunnel, the train crews used to tie smoky rags around their faces just to help protect them from breathing in all that poisonous smoke. And reading some of the accounts that I saw online, the trains actually had to reverse quite a way back up the line to get a run up to come up the gradient. So what really struck me was the size of the tunnel portal. I really wasn't expecting something that grand. And due to the geography of the area, it was actually constructed as a cut and cover tunnel, something which was later also used on the Metropolitan line in London. Anyway, it was at that stage where my explore was rudely interrupted. So while I was filming, I'd heard some banging behind me, and it turns out that there'd been a fresh load of sort of fly tipping sort of dumped on the path where we'd come up to the tunnel. But also just over my shoulder, I'd also been interrupted by 4 or 5 gentlemen that had also arrived. Quickly got the impression that they weren't there for the same reason as me. And given what I'd seen with all the kind of drug paraphernalia around me, I kind of got the impression that something was going off there. So I swiftly made my exit. So yeah, that's a fascinating piece of history, and it is grade 2 listed. But just be very, very careful if you're coming down here. It's not nice. To be honest, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't feel safe. But anyway, before we go, let's just have a look at the other portal of the tunnel. So I'll put an arrow just from where roughly the portal used to be. So until, I think it was about 10 years ago, this Tesco was built, and you could actually see the bricked up portal to the tunnel at the bottom end. Unfortunately, now it's kind of hidden behind that supporting wall. But somebody sent me this photo, and this is from 1925, and this is where that Tesco stands now. So let's just bring back that rail map online screenshot that we saw a short time ago. And while I was doing my research for this video, something occurred to me. When I was about 15, I did my work experience at school with a company that would now be known as Network Rail. And for 2 weeks, I was assigned to a crew basically going out to railway sites, carrying out maintenance and such things. And we came to do some welding on an old railway bridge. And it's only now I'm realising that railway bridge was actually the entrance to this goods yard. And that was the bridge on Carwood Road, right next to Lincoln Electrics. I mean, that was about 1996. There was the railway was still long gone then. But yeah, it never really dawned on me till I was doing this that we was working on a railway bridge but there was no railway actually there. Yes, that's a shame. I'd like to have spent a little bit more time just kind of having a look at that old that tunnel, doing a little bit more talking about it. But kind of fascinating that's there really. How many thousands of people a day drive past that in Sheffield without really knowing that that's there and the history behind it. So thanks for watching. I'll catch up with you again very soon on another railway explore or some explorer of some description, and I'll see you again soon. So take care.